Internationalism has always been a central focus that enshrines our republicanism. Throughout our own long struggle, we've forged many links with many other people struggling for their own freedom and for their right to self-determination. We're very proud of those links and of the assistance and advice that we've been given throughout those years. Those links have themselves enriched our own struggle. And with that in mind, we welcome our many international guests and friends to this Ard Fheis, and in particular, we're very proud to welcome as guest speakers Professor Abdul Rahman, an executive member of the PLO, Catalin Madriaga, a former elected representative of the Basque people, and Balaka Mbeti, the national chairperson of the ANC. So, Corimish, Falchamore and Kate Councillor.
Dear Jerry and Ard Fheis, distinguished members and guests, Giadiv Goler, the PLO, which I represent today, is honored to be invited to address the Sinn Féin Annual Conference. Our Chairman, President Mahmoud Abbas, conveys to you and to the great Irish people the best and warmest regards and appreciation of the Palestinian people in general and the PLO Executive Committee in particular. On the personal level, however, I tell you, comrades, I'm very much impressed by your struggle. I adore your people, love the Sinn Féin and its democratically chosen leaders, and I particularly love my friend Gerry Adams. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 years ago, to the almost exact day, the apartheid system in South Africa started its official demise. Then, we all thought the world would be apartheid-free. 20 years ago, we all thought that the peace process launched in Madrid is about to deliver peace in the Middle East. Yet, not only we discovered that the so-called peace process didn't yield any of its promised fruits, but it started a new, in fact, worse apartheid system in Palestine. Why? Because, dear comrades, Israel, I submit to you, chose to tread on the path of a rouge state and not on the path of peace. Rouge state, as you all know, is a term applied by some international theorists to states considered threatening to the word peace. This means meeting certain criteria, such as being ruled by regimes that severely restrict human rights, sponsor terrorism, and seek to proliferate weapons of mass destruction. Isn't that Israel as it stands now? Dear comrades, when I had the honor to address your distinguished members and guests last year, I emphasized the several major similarities between our struggle for freedom from occupation, building our free state through self-determination, and establishing just peace. As it turned to be later, we even shared in having the distinguished American mediator, George Mitchell. Dear friends, you know that the Palestinian people had bitter experience of negotiations that concluded agreements that have never been honored. We know that you in Ireland have a shared experience. As things stand now, both the roadmap agreement in our case and the recent rather fair agreement reached at Hillsborough in your case are still to be honored fully and to the letter. It is crucial for forward momentum to be maintained that all parties to that agreement honor their commitments. Dear comrades, before I conclude, may I ask you to consider the following points in your deliberations, recommendations, and decisions. If you do, we in the PLO would highly appreciate. If you don't, we will definitely understand. However, we would like you to consider highlighting the following points. Number one, an end to the occupation of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, and the denial of freedom of movement to Palestinians in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip and between the West Bank and Gaza as part of the process to decolonize the West Bank. Number two, the immediate end of siege of Gaza and the implementation of UN resolution and the enforcement of international law, as well as immediate end of Israeli military blockades and barriers in the West Bank. Number three, an end to the ongoing Israeli colonization of the West Bank and the building of colonies that they call settlements. Number four, the lifting of all embargoes by the US and others that have been in place since 2006. The implementation, and this is number five, of the recommendations of the UN Human Rights Council's Goldstone report in the war of Gaza. Number six, the commencement of an immediate and intensive program of reconstruction and economic development in Gaza. Seven, an immediate halt to the building of separation wall as a first step which would ultimately lead to its demolition. Eight, an end to all armed actions and acts of violence, ending all apartheid practices against all Palestinians, whether they live in the West Bank, Gaza Strip, or in Israel. Nine, starting an inclusive process of negotiations in which all democratic mandates are respected, clear objectives are set, and there is a fixed time frame. Last but not least, the commencement of mutual and expeditious cooperation between Palestinians and Israelis to enhance public safety and security. Go Mani Gia Oriv, long live Ireland.